has one of the shortest fuses in the WNBA. Yes, why do I know that? I played with her.
Her filthy thug hands on WNBA player Caitlin Clark. I knew then her future was.
They talk trash and they have the game to back it up. Caitlin was just named Rookie of the Month, averaging 17 points per game and 6 assists.
Did Chennedy Carter just try to convince the world that shoving Caitlin Clark to the ground was just a nice little tap? I couldn't believe my ears when I heard her explanation for that hip check that had everyone talking. This is like watching someone crash their car into a tree and then saying it was just a little bump. Carter's justification is wild, and it might be the nail in the coffin for her WNBA career prospects. Let's break down exactly what she said and why it's so shocking.
And you're playing against somebody like me, I classify myself as a dog. So if you're gonna throw a punch, then I'm gonna compete with you. I'm gonna play at the level that you're.
Like, did y'all forget all of the events that transpired last year with her and Caitlin Clark? And then she refused to own up to what she did.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
Chennedy Carter did to Caitlin Clark on that one play. But you have to call a spade a spade. It was a cheap shot. But if we're speaking on what the entire sequence of events were
in the WNBA, but he did not really mention Chennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of eyebrows.
One Sky coach Teresa Witherspoon called the play inappropriate and said Carter and the team will learn from the incident.
Did you see what Chennedy Carter just said about that hip check on Caitlin Clark? She's calling it a nice little tap now. I literally had to replay the clip 3 times because I couldn't believe my ears. Carter seriously tried to downplay one of the most blatant cheap shots we've seen this season. When you look at what actually happened during that game, there's no mistaking it. Carter deliberately shoved Clark to the ground with a hip check that had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. Everyone saw it happen in real time. The refs, the fans, millions of viewers. The video evidence is crystal clear, which makes Carter's description so shocking. Jana Liquidator, who broke down the clip, couldn't even hide her disbelief, repeatedly saying, "No, bro," and "Come on, bro, really?" as Carter tried to minimize what we all witnessed. When someone calls a clear shove a little tap, they're not just bending the truth, they're snapping it in half. But wait, it gets worse. Carter then had the audacity to suggest Clark might have deserved it. She said, maybe something was said, and then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. Are you kidding me? She's basically saying it wasn't that bad and Clark might have provoked me in the same breath.
She was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Witherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and you know, the rest of the folks.
Now on this path, there will be some moments, and I think a perfect example is from whom you just saw, Chennedy Carter, but I think also to learn from this situation.
That's next level deflection. Jana Liquidator made a brilliant point comparing this situation to what would happen if an NBA player did the same thing. Imagine if someone pushed LeBron out of bounds and then claimed they were just mad because we couldn't stop him. The double standard is glaring. If a player shoved LeBron James like that and called it a nice little tap, the internet would melt down and the fines would come rolling in instantly. The timing couldn't be worse for Carter. She doesn't even have a roster spot right now. She's a free agent looking to get signed, and this is how she chooses to address one of the most talked about incidents of her career? It's like watching someone set fire to their own job application. What's truly troubling is Carter's complete lack of self-awareness. Every word she speaks is digging her career grave deeper. Instead of taking responsibility, she's rewriting history and expecting everyone to ignore what we saw with our own eyes.
Tyler Marsh did the press conference. He talked about Angel Reese. He talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star.
The league as the top dog in college, and now professional players whom you're going up against want to show you why they are on top.
That rewriting of history might become Carter's entire legacy now. You know what's wild? The greatest athletes are remembered for championship moments or record-breaking performances, But Carter might go down as the player who shoved Caitlin Clark and then couldn't even own it. How do you recover when your most famous highlight is your most shameful one? Here's the real kicker. Carter could have taken responsibility, apologized, and moved forward. Instead, she's doubled down on this ridiculous claim that what we all witnessed wasn't what it seemed. The evidence is right there for everyone to see. The video doesn't support her story at all. She's living in an alternate reality where a blatant shove transforms into something gentle.
Kennedy alluded to, what we love about Caitlin is the same thing that we love about Diana Taurasi, the all-time leading scorer in the WNBA.
I don't know why people be so surprised. Oh my God, Chennedy Carter deserved a play. Why?
And it was just like one of those things that was in the heat of the moment. You know, I don't know Caitlin. I don't know her from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is hoops. It's competitive.
The timing couldn't possibly be worse for Carter. She's currently teamless, while Clark is becoming the face of women's basketball, shattering viewership records and bringing in fans who never watched the WNBA before. Talk about a contrast in trajectories. One player is elevating the entire league while the other can't find a spot on any roster. This whole saga has completely buried anything positive about Carter's basketball skills. Try searching her name online right now. You won't find highlights of her scoring ability or athletic plays. It's all hip check, all the time. Her basketball identity has been completely hijacked by this single moment she refuses to acknowledge honestly. What's really concerning is how Carter seems totally convinced of her own version of events. It's like she's watched a different video than the rest of us. That level of denial isn't just bad for public relations, it suggests she genuinely doesn't understand the impact of her actions on the court or how they're perceived.
The push that was heard around the world has cost WNBA player Chennedy Carter her career.
Carter shoulder checked Caitlin Clark from behind, knocked her down before the basketball was inbounded. A common foul was called, but the WNBA on Sunday upgraded.
How does someone justify calling a clear shove just a nice little tap? By completely disconnecting from reality and hoping we all have terrible memories. Why is she even bringing this up now when she should be focusing on finding a new team? Because she's desperately trying to rewrite her story, but this approach is backfiring in spectacular fashion. The most revealing part is how Carter has framed this whole incident, minimizing the contact, suggesting Clark somehow provoked it, and pretending this is just normal basketball behavior. That's not accountability, that's the opposite. It's deflection and denial wrapped in a weak justification that nobody's buying. And as predicted, the social media reaction has been brutal. I told you guys that by tomorrow this clip would be everywhere, and wow, it's happening exactly as I said. Carter is getting absolutely roasted online. People are not buying her explanation at all. I mean, I'm still in disbelief watching her try to justify what we all saw with our own eyes. What do you think? Was it really just a nice little tap, or was it something more?
Now fast forward to where we are today and what we just witnessed happen between Chennedy Carter and Caitlin Clark. I want to be absolutely clear. No one condones.
This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll keep you updated on any fallout as teams make their final roster decisions. This story is definitely not over yet.